You're not drinking, are you?
No, and we're live.
Okay.
You're saying
Oh, shit.
you know what time it is. It's time for Hot Topics Talk Radio TV, hosted by Toni Breedlove and Yvonne Baker.
What's up?
So, for those who probably got in early, before I could even put the intro video up, I'm sure you heard our back chatter where Ms. Yvonne asked, "You're not drinking, are you?" This is always a comedy show. If
I was
you
just
don't know, now you
checking.
know. Oh my God. No, I am not drinking tonight. I have iced tea. I'm being a good girl. Again, I'm going to be a good girl for a while after that fiasco that I had. So, no, I'm not drinking.
The reason why I asked that is while I was watching the video, you had left out, and I saw you coming back. I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So all kind of things go on in the background as we're trying to get on air, as you can tell. I'm trying to share the show on my personal page for those lazy bums that don't want to just type in Hot Topics Talk Radio here on Facebook. So I'm trying to do it for you. But anyway, welcome. Welcome to Hot Topics Talk Radio. I'm Toni Breedlove, and that is right there, the lovely, the beautiful, the incomparable Miss Yvonne Baker. How you doing, guys?
I'm good. Can't complain. Unless y'all have time for me. Unless y'all have time.
Oh, gee. Well, let's see. We only have an hour. So
I guess we don't have time.
What's up, Treese? How you doing? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you too. I see my babies in
my
there.
Treese was giving me. If he is, I'm getting there, Miss Yvonne. Don't rush me.
Look.
Hey, Miss Jagger. No. So you must have heard it too. Gee whiz. See, Yvonne, that's how rumors start. Next thing you know, they'll be saying, "Did you know Toni's an alcoholic? She drinks every night." That's, yeah. Hey, Brandon. What's up, Chris? Hey, Mr. John Foster.
Hey, John.
How you doing, sir? And there's my sister, Miss Kim Robertson. Oh my God. So welcome to Hot Topics, y'all. I'm glad that you came on in and are joining us tonight. As always, like I said just a moment ago, this is pure comedy. It is always comedy. So I'm hoping that you'll stick it out, kind of roll with us tonight, because we're kind of coming on the precipice of last week's show, but Miss Cece's not going to be joining us tonight. She might join us online here in the chat area. But she's not going to be joining us on camera tonight that I know of. Things might change.
After dealing with Yvonne last week, I never come back on this show.
She probably done deleted us and everything.
Yvonne was on it last week.
Oh, dear Lord. Everybody was calling him an attorney.
Yes.
the way that he was whipping those questions back and forth. But again, we had such a good time on the last two shows. We thought to kind of end it off with some of the statements, that Miss Cece was saying. On this hand, it was not a date. On the other hand, it was a hangout. So that's where we wanted to kind of start this show off, and then take you into some of the things that might have changed over the course of time, over the years, about dating, because things have changed tremendously.
Oh my God! Yes.
But yeah, it really has. But what I want to do is, at the last minute, I was trying to get this video together for you, because it is in line with what we were talking about last week. Whether Cece's date was a hangout, or no, let me put it this: whether Cece's interaction was a hangout or if it was a date. And I found the perfect video, and this guy's name is Josh, and he kind of breaks it down for you. So it's about 3.5, 4 minutes long. So I'm going to give this to you, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to comment on Mr. Josh's video. So here you go.
Hey, playa. Today I want to break down the difference between hanging out with your crush and asking them out on a date. Is there a difference? Are they the same thing? For some of you trying to think about this rationally, hanging out with them might be seeing them in school or spending time with them and their friends, but a date is one-on-one. Spending one-on-one time with them is a date. There's no way to break that down. So can you hang out with your crush one-on-one, or is it always a date? I like to look at it like this. What was your intention in asking them to hang out? Did you ask them to hang out just to spend time with you, to accompany you in doing something? Or do you see it as an opportunity to get to know them better, to qualify them in some way, to see if the two of you are actually close enough and you can actually build on that closeness to create something from it? So if you ask them out and you're not even sure what the two of you are doing, chances are your crush is just as clueless. So your crush is going to have to pick what they think that thing is. If they see it as a hangout, most likely they're going to tell themselves, we're just friends, that's all we're doing right now, I'm only going to see them as a friend, and then going forward, every single time they interact with you, they're going to move you closer and closer to the friend zone. Or they're going to see it as a date. If they do see it as a date, then they're going to have expectations of you as well. And those expectations are going to be even higher. They might be things like, is this person getting close with me, putting their arm around me? Are they joking around a lot with me? Are they really paying attention to the way that I look and the things that I'm saying? If you don't meet that caliber and they think it's a date, then chances are there's not going to be a second one. They're going to immediately write it off and say, hey, I don't really vibe with this person, I'm not going to go on a second date with them. But if you're falling down the friend zone path and they start to see you as only a friend, then yeah, they'll hang out with you over and over and over because they're not expecting anything from it. So you want to make things very, very clear as soon as you ask them out. The whole point really is to make the intention clear of what you want from that experience. So how do you make that clear without outright telling them that you like them? Well, the first step is to solidify why you want to spend time with them. That might be saying something like, you're a really cool person and I want to get to know you better. And then you can ask them out on a date. Check out yesterday's video to see what type of date fits best. But the second step really is the key step here. And that is when you are on the date with them, when you're spending that time with them, you're moving up and getting closer to them. You're not just staying stagnant. So many people just stagnate when they're on a date. They spend the entire time just kind of casually talking to the person, not really going into any deep topics, not really doing anything that teases them or flirts with them, but just kind of trying to maintain status quo so the person doesn't get annoyed or things don't get awkward. And when you do things like that, you're showing the person that you're not someone that they really want to date, and you're showing them that, hey, maybe you're better off as a friend, which is not what you want, right? You need to flirt with them, and that might mean complimenting them on the way that they look or on something interesting that they said. You also need to be physically present there. You need to show them that you're not afraid to hold their hand or to put your arm around them, all within reason of what they feel comfortable with. But you need to kind of be present in a romantic way. If you don't bring that to the table, then yes, you're going to start veering down the hanging out path, which is friend zone territory. Now, one little detail that we probably shouldn't overlook is that if your crush flat out asks you, hey, are we on a date? Don't backpedal. Don't say something like, no, we're just hanging out, or no, what do you think it is? Because when you do something like that, when you show that lack of confidence, they're going to immediately put you in that first category, which is hanging out, and think you guys are just friends. Your crush is going to want to see you act confident. And being confident simply means believing in the things that you're asking them to do, believing in yourself, showing them that you actually are going after what you want. That's what true confidence is. And if you don't bring that to the table, then it's not a date at all. And And finally, how you choose to end that session with them is going to help them understand way better whether or not you're just hanging out as friends or if you're actually on a date. By saying something like, I really enjoyed the time we spent together today. I feel like I really got to know you and I want to keep learning more about you. So why don't we hang out again next Friday? Let's see if we're both free and I'll contact you tomorrow. By saying something like that, you've solidified for them that you really like them, that you want to get to know them better, and you're already planning the next step. You're not kind of just passively saying, hey, well, that was fun hanging out. Maybe we'll hang out again. Maybe we won't. You're letting them know where you stand. And that is super important. So,
all right. So I'm trying to get Yvonne's video back. There she is. I was wondering maybe if you had decided to, oh, there she goes. I don't know what's going on with the connection. But anyway, that was a video that I found on YouTube this afternoon, and I was getting it ready for tonight's show because, like I said before the video, we were trying to establish, what that was that Cece was. Welcome back.
Did you miss me?
I thought maybe you decided after watching some of Josh's video that you were on the phone, trying to schedule a date or a hangout.
I thought about it. It took me 2 tries to get back in.
But as I was saying, we wanted to be able to show that to you because I think in the very beginning, I was trying to establish, what constituted that as a hangout or versus a date. And that's where it gets kind of sticky for me because we come from the old school where you go out with someone of interest. It was a date.
It was a date.
Right?
Yeah.
So now we've got all these darn rules, as to if it's a date or if it's a hangout. And then, let's not forget a hookup. So
there's a dating site called a hookup.
Is it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
But I just thought that, because we had left it there with Miss CC, and I just wanted to try and establish some ground, when we talk about dating, because both you and I are single. A lot of people that listen to our show are single, and they come on and they, want to listen to us act a fool. But nevertheless, we need to give them something, right? So dating, do you ever call someone and ask them, you want to hang out? As a hangout and not a date. Hey, Yvonne.
Hey, Yvonne. You know what? No. You know what? Also, if I call and ask someone out, if I say, you know what, let's do something tonight, or whenever, I'm not putting a label on it as a date, but I still consider it as a date. So yeah.
Say so. Girl, I'm gonna beat you.
And see, and this is where the problem comes in. There's so much new stuff. There is so much new stuff until new language going around now. You don't know what is politically correct. It's like, okay, people that are single, or no, people that have a significant other, don't keep them. Yeah, because it's you don't know what you're gonna get when you start going out mingling with people. You don't know whether to classify it as a date, or as a hangout, or as a hookup, or as a whatever.
You know what? I think in a lot of ways, I think that I am getting hung up on the terms themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's what my problem is. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just like, I don't, I, 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 I don't, I guess I don't normally or have not normally called a guy, a man, and said, hey, you want to just go hang out? That's why I have girlfriends, So,
but you know what? Even with like you and I, if we go out to lunch, I can reference you as a lunch date. I mean, it doesn't have to be a something that's going to
man,
be
woman,
intimate. Yeah,
right.
it's a day. It's a date that you two pick to go out and mingle. So it's a date, regardless of whoever it is. It's still a date.
So
Now, what you make out of it is something different.
Okay, so that's where I think it gets sticky for me, because both people would have to have an agreement or agree on the fact that it's either a date or a hangout. But let's say in the case of Miss Cece, and I'm only using you, Miss Cece, because I love you. The only thing that I
And you
think
started this shit.
I know. But I think there was this misconception, because I'm thinking the guy who had been asking her out before had the intentions of a date. And her intention was not so much as a date. So that's where I think I'm getting caught up. Don't say, yeah, right, I do love you, Cece. But I think that's where I'm kind of caught up when we talk about, the terms themselves, and what they mean. And I think that in that video where Josh was saying there has to be an intention that both people have an understanding as to what that get together is, right. What it is. Now, the only thing that I can agree on of a term that I can say, okay, well, I know what that is. And that's because I have a son who had grown up using the word hookup. And I knew what that was. Okay. So I'm pretty clear on that. But I've never used the term, you want to just go hang out, when I'm talking to a man. I just never have. Because I don't want there to be a misconception.
I don't think I've ever used that term either.
Yeah. So anyway, so then that kind of like leads us into the area of how things have changed when we talk about dating. Because I think when we were coming up and we were getting into dating, your first dates and all of this, a guy wants to come and take you to the movies, and, you go grab a burger, stuff like that. There was no such thing as the internet. There was no such thing as cell phones for a while. So we didn't have those luxuries. We met people in school when we had our first jobs and growing up, becoming adults. How was it when you had your first date? What was that like?
Well, my first date was really it was an introduction to my cousin's boyfriend's brother. So, and it wasn't where, he could pick up a cell phone and call me, because like you said, there was no cell phones back then. So he'd have to ride his motorcycle. He had a bike, and he rode his bike over to my aunt's house, and he called me and he rode his bike over to my aunt's house, picked me up, and off we go. So it was all of these other little you know, uh, all this other stuff, it was non-existent.
Okay, so how did he ask you out, or did he have to come to your parents' home and ask if it was okay for him to take you out? How was that?
Well, we met when my mom and I were on vacation in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, at that time, I was like 15, 16,
Mm-hmm.
15, 16 years old. And
Mm-hmm.
so I thought I was grown, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When my cousin first, when his brother first introduced us, it was, I think he asked me if I wanted to go to a movie the next day. And I said yes, and told him where he could pick me up. And that's what he did. He was there at the time that he said he would be there. And so it wasn't going through my parents or my mom or anybody else. It was, he just picked me up and off we went.
But you knew it was a date.
I knew it was a date, yes.
Okay, so and I mean I had similar experiences, uh, but I remember having a date with my dad, my father. It was scary because he always kept his gun loaded. I was like, and then when I was late, he get in the car with the shotgun and come look for me. That kind of, so I really didn't want to date because it was not worth the headache. But nevertheless, I knew it was a date. Um, but when we talk about, okay, so when you went on your first date, I know when I went on my first date, the little boy paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
How was it for you?
Same here. He paid for it. We went and we saw a movie, and then we went to Church's Chicken afterward. And I mean, he paid for everything. I didn't, I didn't have to worry about paying for anything. Hey, Penny, long time no see.
I know, long time no see. I know you've been going through some things, my love. I hope everything is working out. You've been in our prayers. You have definitely been in our prayers. Um, but dating now is just seems like there's so many freaking rules. Um, was it last week or the week before where I think it was either you or someone in the chat area had said something about it depends on who asked who out, who pays? Who said that? I can't remember who said it, but when I saw it, I'm like,
I,
hmm.
I don't remember that, but see, now that has changed a lot since, in this new age too. It's like, and when I was, even when I was going out, shit, I was still trying to go out. But, it
Me
was,
too.
but, before our age group, our expectation is if we go out, whether it's he asks me out or I ask him, hey, let's go do something. My expectations have always been he's the man, so he foots the bill. But now it's like the whole scenario has changed, whereas so and and I think men are the ones that have been bringing this up. Well, if women are these women that's burn their bras and all this stuff, but if women ask the man out, then it's she's the one that should be paying. I still don't feel that way. I will make that effort.
I mean, but it was
Reluctant.
something that was really unsaid back then. It wasn't even like it was a rule.
Exactly. It wasn't. It was the man, it was unsaid. It was he was the man, and he felt like it was his place to pay for whatever we did.
That's what I don't understand. I'm coming to you guys' comments in just a second, but it's like I can't understand when that shift happened. That's where I'm kind of stuck too, because I've heard people say, well, if the man asks you out, he's paying. If you ask him out, she's supposed to pay. Then I've heard, well, on first dates, you should always go Dutch, and all of these things. So I'm like, hell, no wonder I don't date. Shit, I'm confused.
Me
Shit,
too.
I don't know if I'm supposed to pay or not.
But you know what? I think really in that situation, if a woman asks a man out and she says, you know what, I asked you out, so it's on me. I think he should say, you know what, that's very commendable, but I'm old school. Thank you for the offer, but I'll pay. And I think that's the way it should go. And it's not like I can't, buy my own food or pay for both of them, but it's just, I don't know. I haven't burned my bra. I'm still a woman, and I want to be treated like a woman, like a lady.
Exactly.
And I want the door to be open. I want my chair. I would like for my chair to be pulled out. I don't, trust them to pull the chair out, but it's. I want that courtesy of me being with a gentleman, old school gentleman.
Right. But you know what? Cece brings up a good question. This was a few comments back. I'm coming to all your comments, so just give me a chance. But Cece asked the question, do men really want a woman to ask them out on a date?
I think that's changed
I'm like
too.
you. Yeah, right. Because I still feel that a man should ask me out. I don't necessarily think that it's for me to be that forward. I'm still a lady in a lot of ways, except for my mouth. I cuss like a sailor, but in a lot of ways, I'm still that old school kind of woman who came up where, like you said, you want a man to pull your chair out. You want him to open your door. You want a man to be attentive to you because you are a woman.
Exactly.
That's the way we were raised. Let's see, you guys' comments are going so freaking fast.
But you know what? Just because it's gotten to a point now where men are. I don't understand why men are so standoffish now. It's like they may be attracted to you, but then they don't feel like they can, come up to you and it's the times. If a man comes up to you and say, you know what, you're a very attractive woman, the first thing she's gonna say, I am so offended. That was
what you mean I'm attractive?
Exactly. So it's the guy where men now is like they don't want to be put in that position of being accused of insulting this woman. I had somebody tell me one day they don't know whether to tell a woman she smelled good or not because, he don't want to, before he could say, oh, I really like your perfume. You really smell good. And the next thing you know, there's a case coming up against him. Yeah. So it's really has gotten out of control on how a man is to approach a woman. Now they don't say anything there's nothing said when a woman approaches a man and say, "Hey, you know what? You smell good." And I love a man that smells good.
Oh,
And
girl, yes.
I'm gonna tell him, I'm like, "Damn, you smell good." Now, if he want to put a lawsuit
Exactly.
on me and say that I'm harassing him, okay, but you don't have then stop smelling good, okay?
But you know what? And that's, I think I don't know. It's just become so difficult when we talk about men and women and how we interact with one another. It's just become difficult. But you know what? I want to address this comment from Devon. He says the rules changed when some women took advantage of it and trying to get over, because there are some of those women who go out and they'll spend your money faster than the money that they have in their pockets,
Yes,
at a dinner table, and order shit that they hadn't eaten or haven't eaten or hadn't even thought of eating, only simply by the fact that this man is paying and now they want to take advantage of it. And that's where a lot of women, they're wrong. You're wrong. Because how would you like it if a man took advantage of you in those kind of ways? And then on the flip side, you start taking advantage of a man over the dinner table through a menu, and then you got nerve enough to have a problem with him asking you for a piece of ass.
exactly.
You know, you just spent $200 on a date. He spent $200 on a date, and hell, he's looking for something. He's looking for something.
Because
So, women,
you have some women, and see when I go when I'm on a when I am on a date, I'll sit there and I'll look at the menu and I'm wondering, okay, should I order the steak? I sure would like to have steak and lobster, but it's $40 or whatever. And and then I'm thinking, okay, so I go, so what are you gonna have? So I can kind of get my cue from him. Should
because a
I?
lot of right. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times, if a man is taking you out, and this is old school, ladies, for these young women, old school, and Yvonne said it best. You kind of like peep him out, because a lot of times when you ask a man, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Yvonne. A lot of times, if you ask a man, "What looks good to you? What sounds good for you? What do you think you're gonna have?" Then you can kind of gauge things, okay? But
Yes.
on a second note, a man will then tell you, "Get whatever you want. This is
Yep.
this is for you." They'll tell
Yep.
you that. They
Yes.
will tell
They
you that.
will tell you
And if
that.
if lobster and scallops and the whole Red Sea is out there for you, baby, go for it swimming. Go swimming. But don't take advantage of a man's pocket just because he's inviting you out for dinner, because it's not fair. This man works for a living just like you do. So
Exactly.
chances are he didn't put, $300 aside just for you to eat. He didn't. So it's not fair. So that's where we have to be mindful. I like what Jacqueline just said about when the shift happened. And she said it was that 50-50 mindset. Because I know that a lot of times, as women and men, we think of our relationships as split down the middle, So that means that, hell, if we're doing 50-50, then shit, I'll pay for my meal, you pay for yours.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of that mindset too. I believe that. Let's see. The anti-bullying diva is old school. I'm still rocking single. Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yes,
Amen.
ma'am. Hallelujah.
Chris, hallelujah. So Chris says, as a man in my late 50s, I expect to pay, and I do mind paying when I go out. I do mind paying when I go out, or it might, well, because that would be a double negative or double, I don't know what that is. But as a man in my late 50s, I
You
expect
don't
to
mind
pay, and I
paying.
don't mind paying when I go out with a woman. And that's old school.
That's
That's
old
old
school.
school. Because you wouldn't have invited her out, if you were not going to be able to take care of the dinner. Um, oh, it's a lot of comments, Yvonne. These people are killing me over here. Let's see.
All right, we'll
I'm
pull
gonna
it
go
up
all
and then
the way
we'll
back
answer
up.
them as they go.
Okay, so here we go. They keep moving. It's like, oh my God. Those men understand the assignment, which yeah,
They
those
do.
men that we're talking
You
about,
know,
they do. They
and you
understand it.
know, it's just like it's not just dinner, but an old school, and I don't mean a man in their 80s and 90s when I say old school, but men that have morals, have values, that have been taught how to be a man. If they're
That's
with
what
a
Yvonne's talking about.
if they're with a woman, I don't and even though the woman don't ask for anything, there should be some kind of clue. If her attitude has changed, there should be some kind of clue where he would say, "Baby, you okay? You need something?" And if she says, "Look, after a little coercing, yeah, I'm having a problem paying this bill or that bill," she shouldn't have to ask him to pay to come out of pocket with money. He should say, "Look, here's some money. Handle your business." But
But
you
then
guys,
we're going to go into that because I want to address that. I do want to address that because, see, that's the old school we come from,
that's the old
right?
school we come from.
Because I had a gentleman that I never asked. I would never ask. And if I did ask, he'd do above and beyond, okay, so that I wouldn't have a problem. But those kind of things, that ain't gonna happen. Not in today's times.
Nope.
It's just not going to happen. And I agree. Chivalry is what matters today. I think it
Yes,
still does matter. Um, let's see. A real gentleman knows the deal. You're right. You're right.
he
They
does,
surely do.
or he should anyway.
I'm going along, right? So I'm going along as fast as I can. Real gentleman knows. You'll miss your
You know,
blessing that way
you
too.
you
Closed
do.
mouths don't be fed.
But then I like with me. I don't want to come to my. If we're in a committed, serious, committed relationship, I would say, hey, baby, you know what? I can't pay this bill this week. Can you help me out here? Yeah, I will ask. Reluctantly, I will ask. But nowadays, men are like, you working? How come you can't pay your own bills?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But yet still they want to lay down with you and enjoy extracurricular activities. Start
Right,
charging for
right.
that.
So Cece had said that it's a trip to the HR when we're talking about, smelling good and,
It is.
telling someone that they smell. Yeah, it truly
It is.
is. Um, let's see. Then Jacqueline says, women have me. Write it again for me, Jacqueline. I can't
Women
figure that one
have
out.
two men out of. Okay, go to the next one.
Yeah, I can't figure that one out, Jacqueline. Cece said there's a saying, the difference between a compliment and a harassment is how attracted you are to the other person.
There. I don't think there's a has to be a physical attraction for somebody to pay you a compliment. I mean,
No, not at all.
if we're
Not
working
at,
together, and I mean, I have had men come on my bus that smelled good, looked like
yeah,
hell, but they smelled really good. And when they walked on that bus, it was like their scent just up my nose. And I will
yeah.
say in a heartbeat, you smell good. So, and I'm not physically
Mm-hmm,
attracted to the people getting on
mm-hmm,
the bus. He's riding the bus. Yeah. So no, I don't.
mm-hmm,
I'm not
mm-hmm.
physically attracted to him. And I think a compliment. Everybody should want a compliment. I mean, I like compliments. I like for people to
Yeah,
tell me, "Ooh, you
right.
smell good." You know,
Yeah,
or
Exactly.
whatever.
Exactly. Because I mean, that's why women get up in the mornings and we put our makeup on, we do our hair, we, dress fine and all of these different, because we are not only trying to please ourselves or compliment ourselves, but we would like to hear that we look good or we smell good, we look pretty
Yeah,
today and stuff like that. You do want to hear that. And Cece says $200 isn't anything. But, Miss Cece, so there have been times me and Yvonne would go out and we would eat and eat and eat, and we spend $200-300 on a meal, and wouldn't feel shit about it, right? But you can't assume that that $200 is not anything for everybody.
exactly.
You just can't, because then that would, I mean, you're kind of almost setting yourself up for failure, because what if this guy really wanted to see you that week and he didn't get paid, or he's got life things going on that are like chomping the bits at his bank account, but he really wants to see you. So you don't know what the circumstances are. So
Exactly.
you can't say that $200 isn't anything. It might not be anything for you at that time, because you might be big pimping over there.
That's
But
right.
for some other people, it might be a little difficult for one night.
But
So you
you
got to be
forget who
careful
you
that way.
talk you forget who you're talking to. Remember? She said remember she said that he
I
has
got
to
to
be
talk to
equally
Cece.
young. So he's got to be have the same amount of figures as she has. So
And that's where she might miss her blessing.
yes.
That's where she might miss her blessing. Because who
Yeah,
says the circumstance of his finances is something permanent at that particular time?
exactly.
You know? And this is old school talking to you, baby girl. This is old school, okay? Because I've given up on some guys that wasn't making no money. Next thing you know, shit, they done invented some shit, and that girl making $1 million a year. I'm like, oh, I gave that up. So be careful with that. Be
Yes.
careful. Let's see. Me Too messed up or messed a lot of this up for
Yes,
women
Me
too.
Too movement did.
Yes, it did.
I'm not
Because
saying anything against the women uh, that was legitimately sexually assaulted, but you have
mhm,
some women that have they just went overboard with this. I mean, every time you
mhm,
turn around and it's like 30 years ago. He
mhm.
looked at me wrong. He smelled my neck. I felt uncomfortable. So fucking what? Get over the shit. Excuse me,
Yeah,
y'all. I'm sorry. That part.
I know.
But
Usually you don't cuss.
I've been hanging around you too long.
You think?
But yeah, I just feel like it has really taken off. And please don't. I want to hear nothing about that. I'm not talking about legitimate sexual assaults. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that have come up out of the woodwork. They done dug themselves up out of King Tut's tomb to come back and
Yeah,
say he
with
smelled
felonious
my neck.
claims. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it
So yeah,
happens. It happens.
and I have to say I've been a victim of that myself. So I'm not taking that part lightly. But
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of it really did get out of control.
So now we know why CC is okay with a man spending $200 on a date for food.
Okay, so what is
CC,
the legal seafood?
well, that's the name of the place, Legals Seafood. And she was
Where is that?
15 on her first date going to a seafood restaurant.
So where is legal seafood?
I'm not sure. It must be where she's from. But
I guess,
you know,
yeah.
and I get it, CC. I really do, because I had a dad that my mom had always told me that if a man or a young man can't do for you, and you see potential in him of doing for you like your dad has been able to do for her, and provide for me, then he's not the one. And my mom and dad made really good money. So I grew up pretty privileged. You know, I think Kim Kim can attest to that. Yvonne can attest to that. But I still had I still had those morals in place. You know, I still had them in place. So sometimes, you know, guys, then this is a different time too. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy where people are struggling. So, you know, I wouldn't expect a man to, you know, spend 200. I wouldn't expect it.
No.
Spend $200, $300 on a meal. If he did, that'd be a wonderful thing. Would it make the date any better or any worse? No, because I'm there for the company. You know, it's not about what I'm shoveling in my face. It's about the company. That's the way I look
Exactly.
at things. And it took me a little bit to get there to that uh, understanding about uh, men and women and how we look at each other. It just took a level of maturity and growth and time. So I'm hoping one day everybody can get there too. It's not about what he's spending on you, it's about the company. It really is.
It really is.
Um,
It
Miss
really
Penny
is.
Jean says 2021 is effed up. So how do we end the madness? Good question. I'm hoping through some of the things that Yvonne and I are saying is going to try and shift certain things. Here comes Seti. What you got to say? I don't
What
mind
on,
paying, but I pay
Teddy?
because I want to, not because I have to. Doesn't mean I'm trying to get you, just means I enjoy your company. And if I pay, at least handle the tip or ice cream, coffee, or something like that. And you know what? I do that. I do that. Because, yeah, I believe that if he's paying, why can't you leave the tip? Don't sit there like a damn bump on a log and not want to contribute anything. Because then that man is going to say, oh, well, shit, she's just a taker. You know, she's not, she ain't ready for nothing. You know, and that's the way they will look at it. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
got to be able to contribute something on that date. And I say date,
Date. You got that, CC?
date.
Date.
Oh my God. So Cece says, I live in Massachusetts. The man I am dating lives in Manhattan. I didn't know you were seeing somebody.
You didn't tell Toni that.
Huh?
I told you. I told her she didn't tell you that. Did she
No.
get your permission?
Did what?
I said, did she get your permission to
Oh,
date?
no. No. Because we need to have a talk. Devon Patrick, I live in Massachusetts. The man I am dating lives in Manhattan. See, we got to get you back on here because see, now I've got to know more because I'm nosy that way. I'm really nosy that way. Why do you think we do this show? Because we just nosy and want to find out people's business. That's because we don't go out on dates. We ain't got shit else to do. Um, Man, Toni, you about to make me ask for this link again. All right.
Come on
All right,
down,
Devon. Here we
Devon
go.
Esquire.
Uh, this is for Devon Patrick. Uh,
I think
Hang on,
CC wants
Devon.
it too.
I ain't having y'all on every week, especially together, because Devon is gonna like interrogate us again. No, he's gonna interrogate Cece. He
Uh
ain't
huh.
interrogating me. Um, okay, Devon, this is. Hang on. for Yvonne. All right, I'm trying to get down here to some of these comments. Yvonne, I just posted that link. Let me get down to here to some of these comments though, because there's a bunch of them. Depending on where you live, that's the price of a meal. The comments are rolling so fast, they're like slow to come up. Let's see. I'm trying to read this. Is that comment showing yet?
Which one?
From Yvonne?
Which one? I just see. No, I see the links.
He's still commenting. Still don't speak.
Oh, CC said post the damn link.
Oh, here's Yvonne. I just did, CC.
I was mad.
Now she's bossy.
I was mad. Tony, I was sleeping. Things fine. I was sleeping. I was uncomfortable.
And we woke you up?
No. I was watching the show, but I was in the bed. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna go in now. I'm awake. I'm awake.
Come on, CC.
I'm awake.
Devon Patrick Esquire is waiting for you.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not no.
Right?
I'm not an Esquire. I observe and I respond. That's it. That's all. All right. Look.
All right. So while CC is trying to come in, let me see what else is in these comments. There's a bunch of them.
You only got 7 minutes, so I don't want any Yvonne. I know y'all got 7. I don't want.
That's it. I haven't even looked at the clock.
Man, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, here's Miss Lucy.
Y'all do not let me explain.
Let me say this.
I'm not saying it's not anything, but depending
No.
on that is the price. By the time you have the drinks here is $20. 2 drinks, you already at $40. You already halfway to 100. That's all I'm saying. I've been on individual dates. I'm just saying, depending on where you live, that's the price.
Real couple things, right? Couple things. One, you said you've been dating this dude for years.
Years.
So, how many years? Just out of curiosity.
Oh Lord!
If I tell you, you won't fall out that quick.
No, I'm just curious. Out of curiosity, how long you been dating, bro?
Since 2001.
Ooh!
Oh shit!
3 years ago, you was on another. All right, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Listen,
right, so
you can date as many people as you want to. I am not married. I can go on 1,000 dates if I want to with 50 different dudes.
But
so it's not a committed. It's not a committed.
I said dating.
It's not committed though.
No.
So y'all on an open relationship.
I don't even call it a relationship.
Oh shit!
Oh Lord, Devon done fucking left again.
Devon has left. Oh, and Tony has left.
I'm gonna say he gotta go get his pen. Now Tony left.
Again, help me understand this every other week. You just said you dating
you
a man.
Fucking kidding me?
But you're not in a relationship with him.
I'm not in a relationship. I dating a person and being in a relationship with them is 2 different things.
So are y'all just hanging out? You and this guy?
We started out just hanging out.
No. Let's not add more to this than already added to it. Just are y'all dating or are y'all hanging out?
We hanging out. No,
but you said dating on the.
It depends
all right,
on how you
Tony,
want to look
y'all,
at it.
it's been a great time on y'all show. I absolutely love hanging out with y'all. But what's not gonna happen tonight, I'm not gonna spend another hour, and I don't want to be called a lawyer, an antagonist. I don't want to be called that.
We're dating. When I go to his city, he takes me out on dates. In 2 weeks, he's coming here to visit me. We're dating. I'm not in a relationship with him. None of that stuff.
You just said y'all hanging out. So are y'all dating?
We're not hanging out. I'm not his
girlfriend. You just said he take you on dates.
He does. I'm not his girlfriend.
What's the name of your show?
Oh, you know what? It's a booty call.
That's a long booty call, but it's
a hookup.
When he comes to town, hey.
Hey. We can name me whatever we want. I am not his girlfriend. We are dating. When he takes me on dates,
friends with benefits.
Well, I have not paid for one thing since 2001.
Friends with benefits.
Okay. In a matter of 2 minutes, you were hanging out, dating, not dating, and seeing the guy. All in 2 minutes.
I'm dating him.
In 2 minutes, you said 4 things you did with one guy. And to this present moment.
We're doing all that, but I'm not his girlfriend.
But if somebody came to you and asked you, hey, you and this guy, what are y'all dating? Would you tell them no?
No, I said we're dating. Yeah, I said
no. You didn't. You said we're hanging out.
Hanging out since 2001.
I go on dates with him. As a matter of fact, we're getting ready to go on a vacation.
Bro,
but I'm not his girlfriend.
And then here's the thing about it. And I kind of feel, okay, look, first off, let's go back to something real quick, Tony. I'm sorry I'm taking over. I apologize, Tony.
Go right ahead.
But here's the problem. One, it started off with not even.
We done lost it as soon as CC came in. Have at it.
The $200 thing, right?
Okay.
That goes back to what Toni and Yvonne was saying about how just if we saying $200 is nothing, depends on who you asking. If you, see, it's down there at the bottom. Y'all peeping it, but I ain't gonna say nothing about it. So anyway, look, the $200 thing, like Toni and Yvonne was saying, if a guy wants to see you, but he ain't ready to blow $200 every time y'all go out, because if I'm taking you to the show, it's no way we should go to the movies and spend $200. That's impossible.
Right.
Now, what I am saying is, if we are going to a nice restaurant, like we go to a Ruth Chris or what they call that other one, Benny Hanna's, whatever, and you blow $200 there, cool. But you're not going to Denny's or Applebee's.
I'm not going to Denny's.
$200.
Nobody's taking me to Denny's. I'm not going there.
Let me explain something. You know what I gotta ask? And this is really real, CC. You have said this a lot of times in the last couple of shows, and I asked on a previous show, what is it that you bring to the table that would make these dudes say, oh, she ain't getting no Applebee's? Like, you, granted, now you got a guy that's taking you to a trip, and that's wonderful and grand and great, right?
Okay.
But what is it that you offer this guy? Because I'm confused.
What do you mean you're confused?
What for these men to say?
I don't.
For you,
I don't get out here.
Let me ask a question. Toni,
I don't get out
Yvonne,
here and put
Toni and Yvonne.
out.
Yes.
Really quickly, Toni and Yvonne. If a guy said I'm gonna take you to Applebee's, just for us to chit and talk, would y'all go?
Just to Applebee's, yeah. Just to talk.
Yeah.
What's the problem with going with Applebee's?
I
don't see a problem with
it. Ain't $200.
It ain't 200. They have some good drinks there.
It's not that it's not $200 because they got a lot of good diners in New York. There's a lot of places where you could get good cheap food. I don't eat Applebee's. I don't like it, so I wouldn't go there. And
what's
it's
the
not
cheapest
about what I have to go.
That was used as an example.
That's what I meant. An example.
I'm just saying, as an example, if somebody said to me, "Oh, I want to take you to Applebee's. You can take me out, but I don't want to go to Applebee's. We need to go somewhere else." And it doesn't have to be someplace that's $200. That's not the thing. And it's not an advertisement of what I bring to the table. When you are around certain people, you know what kind of stuff you could present to them. You can't walk up to Beyonc and ask her she want to go to Denny's.
But all right, you're right. But I'm sure.
I bet she don't.
Okay,
But I bet she knows.
Are you? And I'm not trying to say this to sound mean. I promise you, I'm not saying this to sound mean. But you said you can't walk up to Beyonce. Are you a Beyonce level type
I
of
am
woman?
not, but you teach people how to treat you. And when I go places, when people,
you get treated according to your class, baby. I'm sorry. The class you put yourself in is what you get associated to. Because certain men will walk up to you, CC, and say, "Yes, you're an attractive woman. You this, you that." But I'm a what they call a high value man. And if I'm a high value man, you're gonna go accordingly to the class you're in. So, and like you're saying, a $200 man, like if a man is blowing $200 to $1,000 on everything with you, you better have a condo, a business, and all of these things, because you're saying that if a man don't have this, he can't step to you. So you better match everything that man has.
I didn't say that. I said that I don't eat at Denny's or Applebee's. It doesn't have to be a place that you don't have to take me to Ruth's Chris. And you saying what makes me a person that wouldn't go to Applebee's?
No.
I wouldn't present you with stuff like that. If you meet me on the street or you meet me at work and people know me and say, "Well, what do you do for fun?" Blah blah blah. Anybody who's talked to me just on small talk. No, I'm not going to Denny's. I don't go to places like that. I don't like Applebee's. I've been there before. Yes, I have. I don't like the food, so I wouldn't go there. It's not about, oh, well, you're not spending a bunch of money, so no, I'm not going.
Okay, let me ask you a question, CC. And you said you've been dating this man since 2001. Have you ever taken him out and you paid?
Say again?
Have you ever taken this man out one time and you paid for it?
He won't let me pay for anything. He understands the assignment.
And the assignment is we're not together, and you know we're not together, and I'm going to date another dude 3 years ago, and all of these other things. And he's like, I don't care. He lives
in a different state. He is free to roam about the country. He could date other women.
No. We know what he can do, because evidently if he's able to live that lifestyle, I'm pretty sure he's doing it knowing that y'all not serious. So my question is, if you're saying that this person is that, so a man is blowing this type of money and won't let you do it and treating you like you're the main woman in his life, but he's okay with you dating other people.
Why wouldn't he be? I'm not his girlfriend. We're dating.
But listen. He's treating you like you're the main person in his life, right?
Okay.
But he's okay with you dating other people.
Just because he knows that I date other people. Just like I know he dates other women.
And he's not one said.
So wait a minute, Yvonne. Hold on. I want to go back on something. Have you ever offered to pay for the date?
I have. Yes, I have. I have pulled
Okay, and his answer was, hold on.
He won't let me
his answer was,
I got it.
And you say, but what do you say?
So I said, I'll pay. I haven't paid for anything. And he says, I got it. More assertive.
In 20 years. You said y'all been dating since 2001. It's been 20 years.
Yep.
You notice all this silence?
I haven't paid for one thing yet.
I'm going.
But you know what? Okay, look.
My mother always told me, you teach people how to treat you. And when you treat yourself well, people will treat you well.
I got those same lessons. Because I think you guys heard me when I said my father was one of those that spent money. Mm-hmm. There was nothing that I ever wanted that I didn't get. And I was taught to find a man that could do the same. This is what I was taught. But I was also taught that you have to be reciprocal in some ways.
That's why I'm just curious.
I've gone out with plenty of men who had money. And they thought when I would offer to pay for a meal, they loved it. They loved it.
Here's the thing, Toni, and I didn't want to cut you off because I don't want to cut Toni off because Toni knows more about my life and my past situation, which knows exactly my financial goals and my gains could have easily been, right? Now, I still offer to pay for things and everything like that. And Toni knows the situation beyond that, right? Now, that being the case, by financial status, the person I was dealing with before would be the woman who you said you were on, which means about a class that a person is this whole Beyonc class. That's what they carried themselves into, right? Now, but it was never a you can't take me here or I don't like a certain place. Like when I mentioned those lower chains of restaurant, it was not to be used as literal. These two places. It's a place of that's like you saying, hey, I'm hungry real quick. Y'all driving, and he's saying, no, you can't take me to McDonald's. And y'all just grabbing something quick. That's what I meant. Like if you were grabbing something quick, could he say, oh, hey, it's a McDonald's right here? Would you like McDonald's is for poor people?
I never said that. We have
that's
gone
what
to,
I'm saying.
Matter of fact, last time I went to New York, we went to Popeyes. I eat food like that. I don't eat lobster and scallions every time I open my mouth. You said Denny's. I said I wouldn't go there. I don't like the food. I wouldn't go. But then we
know I didn't literally mean Denny's.
Plenty of places that were not as expensive.
Okay.
And when I said $200 is nothing, I don't mean it's not nothing. It is something, but depending again where you live, that is the price. That's the price.
Look, I understand because look, $200 is nothing if it's every once in a while when you're going out with your woman, your lady, or whoever. I get that. But nobody's going out every time they're going out and saying we're blowing $200 every time we go out. And I know that's probably what you meant by it. Now to say $200 is nothing is no, because you're saying if a person blows $200 on me, yeah, that's nice and all, but it's nothing. Like
that's not. I think you misunderstood. I was saying it as again when we go out in Manhattan, $200. That's a drop in the bucket because that's the price out there. That's the price of a night of two people. The drinks are $20, sometimes $25.
Okay. So in Manhattan, whenever y'all go out in Manhattan, y'all have to blow $200.
No, we don't have to. We've gone places. We've gone out to get donuts.
Okay, but Cece, that's what I'm saying. You just said that that's the going price of a plate going out there, but it's not.
Well, we're talking about on a date. When we go out to get donuts, that's not a date. That's
okay.
This
but
is
if
a
you
donut
go out
place.
on a
Let's
date,
go in here and see what they have.
If you go out on a date, you're saying if you go out on a date with this man, you have to blow $200.
I never said that. Why do you keep coming up with that?
You just said you just said on a date is $200. That's what I just said.
So maybe I'm considering a date going out and having dinner and drinks. But if you're going to Starbucks or whatever, no, that's not the going price. I don't consider that a date. If you say to me, oh, let's have a cup of coffee, that's not a date to me. We're going to have a cup of coffee. That's not a date.
Okay, Cece. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say, if a man takes you to the movie, that's not going to cost him $200, right?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. It just depends. We got a movie theater out here. The tickets, I think, are like $50. It depends on where you're going. They got a waitress. She brings you drinks. They bring you food. The ticket to get in there is $50 before you even buy anything. So it just depends on where you're going.
I understand that because I know if I go to certain restaurants, you're going with the mindset knowing that you're going to blow maybe $300 depending on certain restaurants you go. There are certain movie theaters that you can go to that will have you spend $40 a ticket in the bill today.
Right.
But I'm saying if I'm just taking you to Marcus or AMC, I'm not blowing $200 and you're okay with that, right?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so that's what I was saying about when you saying that you go out on a date. The going rate for dates is $200, but it's not. Like we just explained how it's not.
Okay, well, when I say date, I'm thinking dinner and a movie. I'm not a movie, dinner and drinks. I'm not thinking about movies because I don't consider that a date because you can't even talk in the movies. So to me, you just hanging out. You sitting down next to me.
So a movie theater wouldn't be considered a date?
My head is about to explode.
That's not a date. Somebody said to me, I want to take you on a date. The movie is not a thing that I'm thinking about.
When you went out with that dude 3 years ago, where did he take you first?
Where did we go? I'm trying to think.
They went to the gym.
No, we didn't. We didn't go to the
No, that was the first.
So if you went, well, I'm sorry, Tony. Yvonne, real quick. You said y'all went to the concert one time, right?
No, I didn't say we went to a concert. I said we went to a show.
I know they went. They went to
I
have
just
barbecue once.
I was just using that as an example because remember I told you that.
That's right.
Okay, so y'all went to a show, right?
Right.
Was it a show like on stage or like a movie theater show?
No, it was a show like on stage.
So was that a date?
No, no. You have to. I consider a date someplace where you go and talk and get to know somebody. Not go to the movies. There's no talking in the movies, so you're not getting to know me. Taking me to the movies.
So if I take you to dinner one day, and then the next day I take you to the show, that's not a date.
No, because we're hanging out. We're not talking. We're not getting to know each other.
So just so I got this clear, you telling me if we go out to the dinners and the movie one day and say, hey, I want to take you on another date, and you say okay, and I take you to the show the following week, the second week ain't considered a date to you?
No, we're hanging out. We're going to a show.
All right,
See,
I'll let y'all enjoy that one.
That's enough.
That's
enough. I can't. We're not gonna talk about dating anymore.
Not with CC anyway.
No,
I cannot.
That many dates. I hang out with people. They ask me to hang out.
Well, of course you ain't been on many dates because you don't know. I mean, if a person, I like.
They can't afford to take you on a date.
That's not. How dare you take me to this book club so we can read? I can't talk to you while we read. That's not a date. Like what? I don't. How dare you drive with me to the beach and we look at these kids flip? This is not a date. Like I would consider a date anytime you're spending time with a person that you want to get to know. That's considered a date.
But how are you getting to know a person in a movie theater watching a movie where you can't talk?
Because we just started a date the week before. You can talk before the show.
You're enjoying things that both of you like to do.
So your date,
you're sharing something.
Your dates only start before and after the show, right? So on the ride back and the ride before is the dates, but in between watching the show, that's not.
Or in a restaurant.
So they got yeah. And then, but see, ladies, and I'm not being mean, but see, ladies, this is why that whole, I don't know if I should ask women out no more, because to be honest, if you run into a woman like
exactly.
Whoa. If you telling me at the end of the day, I'm taking you to movie theaters, we not dating, but I gotta take you and sit you down at Ruth Chris to be on a date?
No, it doesn't have to be Ruth Chris either.
I'm sorry. What's the lowest restaurant chain that you would go to that would be considered a date?
I would go anywhere. That would be considered.
No, you wouldn't, because you wouldn't go to Denny's Applebee's. So you can't say you would go anywhere.
I don't like their food. That has nothing to do with the.
So if I set you down at Popeyes and we talk inside of Popeyes, is that a date?
Yeah, we're talking inside Popeyes. I've been to Popeyes before.
Okay, so that would be, so if I set you inside of Popeyes and we were talking, that's a date to you, right?
If that's what you call it.
No, I'm asking you. It ain't what I call it, because what I call it is obviously wrong. So I'm asking you.
That's not wrong. It depends on, two people have to agree. If you say, I want to take you on a date, let's go to Popeyes. And I say, okay, then that's a date because I said okay.
So again, you do it, right? You consider that a date.
If I was interested in the person, yes, I would go to Popeyes with them.
I'm sorry, I took
you know. No.
You know, for 3 weeks straight though, for 3 weeks straight on y'all show, it's been confusing ever since.
And you still ain't got nowhere.
People interchange the word dating and relationship. When you are dating, you do not have to be dating somebody exclusively. You could be dating 4 or 5 people.
Thank you, Trace.
Sex with everybody that you're dating. And it doesn't mean that I'm in a relationship with him because I've been dating him long time.
See, to be honest, in 3 weeks, I still don't know what your definition of dating is. I'm gonna be honest with you, because your to me, and I
don't either.
Sound crazy, Like everybody's asking these, like, and it's women, and it's more women in here commenting that I think they're just as confused as the rest of them are when they're like, okay, I don't know what she's talking about, because any person that's sitting there saying this man spent $200 on comedy show tickets, and that's not a date to you.
I don't know why you keep putting a price on it. What's with doing this $200 price?
I'm just
You
saying,
put the price
because,
there.
Thank you, Toni.
You leveled the price right there in the chat room.
Because he said, somebody said something about $200, and my thing was like, depending on where you are, that's.
But that's not what you said. You said $200 ain't nothing.
And then when he said what, I then explained it and said, depending on where you live, that is the price of a dinner meal. That's the price.
I understand that downtown Chicago is the same way. You can blow $200. I get that, but the only reason I'm using $200 as a reference is because you had mentioned that about it being nothing. So I just said $200 for comedy show tickets is basically going.
Okay,
right,
that's why I said maybe I misspoke when I said nothing. But what I meant was that's the price depending on where you live. That's the goal. Like I went somewhere with somebody from another town, and they brought the menu and it was chicken wings, and they were like, "Oh my God, $15! I don't want them." Like that's the price. Either you want it or you don't.
there's nobody that's sitting in this panel that don't understand. There's nobody sitting in this panel that does not understand.
So maybe
you know where you go.
Said that's nothing. I wasn't clear enough. It's not. Now, I know $200 is a lot of money for a lot of people. I get that. That's not what I meant. Oh, it's nothing. I just meant that's the price. So that's not like, oh wow, $200.
Okay, but that's the reason I said the $200 for a comedy show ticket was simply because I was just saying if a person takes you to a comedy show, you can't talk in a comedy show, so that wouldn't be considered a date to you. You can't talk in a movie theater, so that's not considered a date to you.
But isn't dating getting to know somebody?
And then he brought up concerts. So if you go to a concert, you can't talk.
But the purpose of dating is getting to know somebody. So if you're taking me somewhere where we can't talk, we're not really getting to know each other.
So if you like somebody, if you like them a whole lot.
Yes, you are. And I'm going to explain it, how you're getting to know them. You are getting to know them by their likes, things that they enjoy. You are creating a memory of the time that you're spending with this person at a movie theater, a concert, or a show. That's still a date. You're still getting to know what they like. You've created a memory that's something you guys can share and you can talk about later on that might lead to another concert, because now you're learning that this person likes something other than that one person you saw. So there's a lead in to everything you're doing.
If I take you to a poetry jam or a poetry slam, that's a date. But what I'm trying to figure out is, so the only dates you have is dates that you go to dinner. Because if that's the case, you ain't on a date then. If I'm eating, I'm not talking to you.
That's not the only date, but I just don't consider if we are not talking and we're not getting to know each other, that for me is not a date because I'm not getting to know you. You say, remember that time we went to that place where you sat down next to me?
No, remember that time we went to that poetry jam and that guy said something that we really liked, and we both looked at each other and laughed because it reminded us something at work? That could be considered a memory.
So okay, I have a question.
Yes.
So after you leave that concert, that movie theater, or whatever, you don't have a conversation about what you saw or any other kind of conversation? Y'all just sit there like two bumps on the log?
No, on the way home. Yeah, we'll have a conversation like, okay.
So that's a conversation. You may not talk in there, but that's a conversation before and after.
That's why I asked her, Yvonne. I asked her, does the date that you have, if y'all go to the show, y'all only on a date before the show and after the show. But during the show, y'all not on a date. Because technically, if you dating him right now, then y'all not dating because you're not talking to him right now. Going off your logic. You said you were dating this guy, but y'all not talking right now. So right now, y'all not dating.
Listen, not at this instant, I guess.
Because he's somewhere else.
No, you know what? Her thing is, if we're not talking, we're not dating. The minute
But wait a
he
minute. I want to
sneezes,
know. I want to
they
know.
not dating. The minute he coughs, they not dating. The minute that man go to sleep, they not
They
dating.
not dating. But I want to know, with this 20-year-old situationship, and you're not in a relationship, but you're in a situationship. What the hell is it?
Where is it going?
By this time, y'all, everything he got is community property.
I don't want it. I mean, for me, I enjoy his company, so it's not, where is this going? I enjoy his company. And I like to be alone. So I like to be by myself. It's a convenience, because when I want to be with you, I want to be with you, and when I don't, give me my suitcase, sir, I'm going home.
So
you're
what you're saying,
man, because you can't have that type of mentality when you're dating somebody.
So what she said, because you're gonna be single the rest of your life.
Exactly.
I don't mind though. I was born by myself, and when I die, nobody.
You say that. You say that now.
That's the wrong attitude to have. That's the wrong attitude to have, because now what you're doing is undercover, wasting these guys' time intentionally.
Ooh,
you're wasting their time.
Free to date anybody.
Toni, wait a minute.
Not fair.
Wait a minute.
It's not fair.
Wait a minute. Hold on. CC, you said something that just resonated, because I remember the show ago, right? I remember when Toni was doing the show about the payments, and how you said if a guy ain't paying this, you ain't the sex cure show, right? And you were saying that if a guy ain't doing X, Y, and Z, you are in no financial situation. Now, in 20 years, you telling me that you ain't got this guy, y'all never been in a real situation. But if you I'm pretty sure in 20 years, you and this guy done bumped them right? Now, question. Does this dude support your every financial need?
No, because I'm not his girlfriend.
But you bumping uglies with the dude, and you said that you can't do that if somebody's not financing.
No, that's not what I said. I said I can't do that when I have other things to think about. If my lights are getting cut off and my bills are not paid and things are not right at home, and I'm in a relationship with you and we're living here talking about mortgage and life, then no, you have to fix that. But I'm not his girlfriend.
So let me ask you this.
And if you want to ask me, has he paid any of my bills before? Yes, he has.
Okay, cool. Now, question. And you're okay taking that from a guy who you're not with, right?
He offered it. Why would I not take it?
Okay, no problem. No, that's all right.
But before he offered it, you had to tell him that you needed it.
As a matter of fact,
unless he's a psychic.
No. So there was a time where I didn't have a job and I was on unemployment.
Oh,
he paid the bill for me. I didn't ask him to pay the bill, and he said to me, "Why didn't you ask me for the money?" And I said, "I did not want to ask you for the money." And you know what he said to me? "Well, what is the purpose of me being with you if I can't do anything for you?"
So but he's not with you. But that's neither here nor there. Question: you said that you were at a certain now when you was going through that rough patch in your life. Were you behind on some bills? Because obviously he had to figure it out, and he was like, "Hey, you know, you kind of a little behind, or a bill was on your brain."
No, because I had money for savings, but I didn't have money to do extra things.
Okay, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, you obviously money was tight, right? And you were thinking about that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So at the time when you were thinking about that, and the man was offering, you were still doing the you dig with him, right?
No, I was here, and he was in New York. I wasn't doing anything. And he said, "Let's go through something."
I got a headache.
I don't have the money to do that. And he said to me, "Well, why didn't you ask me?" And I said, "Because I'm not your girlfriend, so why would I ask you for money?" And he paid the bill. And then I went to New York and we had fun.
But then if you were not his girlfriend, then why would you accept it?
He offered it to me. Why wouldn't I accept it? As a matter of fact, you
will take everything that someone
he was
offering you.
I didn't ask him for the money, and when he went to give it to me the first time, I wouldn't take it. Really? And he was a little upset. So I said, "Okay, I will take the money, no problem."
You know what?
Take my money.
You know what? Somebody made a comment just now. Sounds like a married man.
Oh no, he's not married.
Yeah.
He's not
How do
married.
you know?
Say again.
How do you know?
How do you know?
Because I go to his house.
How do
and
you
stay
know?
there
Hold on. You say what?
Because I stay at his house.
How you know you stay in the house when the wife's not there?
He doesn't have a wife.
How do you know?
I know he doesn't have a wife.
He lives all the way in a whole nother town. How do you know he's dating other people? How you know he don't
So
have a
when
wife?
I go to his house, he just eliminates his whole house of everything.
Wait, what?
Because I go to his house, and that's what I'm saying. So you say, how do I know? So when I go to his house, he just packs up all her stuff out of the whole house.
You go through his closet.
I don't have to go through his closet.
So what are you saying? Pack up all this stuff? What stuff?
You saying, how do I know he doesn't have a wife? I know he doesn't have a wife.
How?
I know. I know he doesn't have a wife.
Cece.
I'm positive that he doesn't have a wife.
Have you ever heard of having a double life?
It just doesn't sound right, sweetheart.
I have heard of it. I never wanted to be nobody.
Men have double
I get
lives.
ready to go off and do what I want to do. Nobody can say, "Oh, you cheated on me. You hurt my feelings."
Wait. You said you never wanted to be anybody's girlfriend?
Say again?
You said you never wanted to be anybody's girlfriend?
No. Because I want to do what I want.
Why are you saying you dating people then? Because you're not dating anybody. All you're doing is going around dating people when you want to.
Hey, if that's what you want to call, we can call it that.
That's not what I want to call it. It's what you're saying. Why you keep saying it's what I call it?
Daddy, we done had her on this the third time.
Look.
Oh my God. Stacey, you know what? I'm going to call you this weekend.
You always say that.
We need to have a talk. No, I am. I'm seriously going to have a talk with you. Serious.
When I met him day one, I said, I do not want
Baby.
a relationship. He changed his mind and said he wanted a girlfriend. I said,
Then
you better
what?
find one because it's not me.
Then why would you say you're dating? Okay, I was under the assumption that dating meant you're getting to know somebody who you want to be with. That was my assumption.
I like being with him. I enjoy his company, but I don't want to be with him all the time.
But what I mean, when I say be with, I mean you getting to know somebody with the intent of.
Let me ask you this: know that
a long-term relationship.
So when I met him, I did not believe in marriage, and I made that very clear to him too.
See,
so
we understand that part.
I'm not looking for you to marry me either.
Okay, Cece, totally understand that part. But what I'm saying is, mine, and I don't know what Yvonne's and Toni's definition of it is, but my definition of marriage is, and I'm pretty sure about 60 to 70% of people listening may be the same, but it's to get to know somebody with the intent of building something to be long term. That would be
we built a beautiful long term friendship. It's my road dog, and I love him to death, but I will not marry him, and I'm not his girlfriend.
Yeah, does he know that? Does he know that, Cece?
Yes, he knows that. I made that very clear from the day that I started seeing him. I said, I don't want to be your girlfriend. When he came to me and said, I'm looking, we both made that decision. When he decided that he changed his mind, I said to him, you need to go find somebody else because I do not want to be nobody's girlfriend. I don't want the responsibility and accountability. If I see Devin in the street and I decide I want to go home with him tonight, I don't want nobody saying, you my girlfriend, you hurt my feelings. I'm not your girlfriend. When I made that clear and said, when I say I don't want to be your girlfriend, I mean that. I'm not one of these girls who do that bait and switch and say to you, I was just dating for fun, and then 2 days later, I'm looking for you to marry me. I meant what I said.
So, right, okay, so let me say this. Hold on. Because what I'm having a hard time with is that I can't understand how a man for 20 years is going to date, hang out with, kick it with for 20
go on
years.
Vacations.
Hold on. Right? Hold on though. On a consistent basis. Now, what I do understand is that when men are in their younger years, of course, you know, they're trying to avoid marriage and relationships as much as they can. But as a man gets older, he then understands the value of having a woman in his home, in his bed, as his life partner. And so do women. So when a man starts at and I'm going to assume 20 years ago you were in your 20s, right? Yep. And he was too. Now he's in his 40s. This is not going to last as long as you think it's going to happen. But and you might not care.
At any time, hold on. That he doesn't want to be.
Hold on. You might say that you guys have this mutual thing going, okay? But I can't see that a man is going to continue to waste that kind of time. And it's not because he's not telling you these things, because trust me, he's thinking differently at this point. In his late 40s and going into 50, he's thinking differently. And the sad part is that a man will then start to feel bad about the decisions that he's made over those years. He's going to resent you. He's going to do all of that. And it's not going to be a friendship. That's the sad part. And I just don't want...
I'm sorry, Toni. Can I ask a real serious question? Cece, though? It may be, I just want to ask one serious question.
Yeah.
I don't think it may be out of line, but do you have a fear of being hurt?
Why would you ask me that?
Because you to me, and I'm just asking because you're scared to put a label on something. You're scared to get serious with somebody. You're scared to say that the person's your guy. But it's easier to just say, it's easier to trust me. I'm just saying, not that I can tell. But the reason I'm saying is because I can literally sit here and say, as long as I'm not with nobody, I can't be hurt. If I'm not dating somebody seriously, I can't be hurt. So if I catch them with another girl, I ain't got nothing to worry about because he was never mine to begin with. So that way, and if you don't put a label on anything, it's easier to avoid the hurt that could happen if that person betrays you.
Well, see, initially, I set that up.
No, but the hurt will be there.
Because when I'm dating, I date.
Not if to answer Tony's question real quick, the hurt won't be there if you've tricked your brain to believe he's not mine. That's how guys can get away with dating.
But when I did that, I didn't. When I
hold on,
laid that out, that's not the reason why I laid it out. I laid it out to keep him from getting his feelings hurt because he wasn't the only person that I was seeing, and he's still not the only person that I'm seeing. So I made it clear, like, listen, I don't want nobody to come back to me and say, oh, you're supposed to be my girlfriend, and now I found out that you're going out with Yvonne. I'm not your girlfriend. I made that clear from the beginning. I told you, I don't believe that people belong to anybody. Two people mutually, I spend my time with you because I want to. And if I want to spend my time with you exclusively, that's because I want to, not because I'm your girlfriend and that's what I'm supposed to do.
Well, girlfriends, that just because a person means they're your girlfriend don't mean you own them or they're your property. That's
I understand that, but there's certain rules and regulations that come with being somebody's girlfriend.
Right, but that
I don't want no accountability. I don't want him to call me and ask me where I was.
Those rules are developed between you and that person.
Right, the same rules that you're talking about are the rules you kind of following with this guy now. Because at the end of the day, he's doing for you like a person who's with you would do. He's taking you out like a person who's with you would do. The only thing he's not doing is, you can't tell me that man in 20 years have not called you and say, hey, where you at? He's done that.
All the time.
Okay, right. And I'm sure you've told him before, right?
Of course, I'm very honest. If I'm nothing else but transparent. Anything he asks me, I tell him.
So, Cece, you just made a statement where you said you don't want to answer the question, but you literally just admitted that you've answered that question.
Answering questions when somebody calls and say, hey, where you at? Just out of this is different than answering questions from a man that you're supposed to be with, and he wants to know where you. It's a different where you at.
Cece, listen. If what I just said was that man that you've known for 20 years has called you out the blue and said, hey, where are you? Right?
Yep.
And you have answered that question, right?
Yep.
So explain to me the difference between that and what you just said.
Because we're friends. Any of my friends text me or call me and say, hey, where you at?
So you'll answer your friend, but not your boyfriend.
I don't want no boyfriend because I don't want to answer to anybody.
Okay, but Cece, you are answering to people. You're answering to your friends.
I'm answering a random question from a friend, not from a man that's like, it's 9 o'clock. Why you outside? Why you doing this? Why you doing that?
So you're telling me your friends can ask you questions, but your boyfriend can't.
I don't want accountability for nobody else's feelings. That's it.
Okay,
I'm not your girlfriend.
But what you're saying is your friend can ask you questions, but your boyfriend can't.
It's a different question coming from a friend than it is
It's
from a
the
man.
same question. What makes it different?
It's not the same question. It's not the same question.
Cece, if your friend asks you where you are and your boyfriend asks you where you are, how is that a different question?
Yvonne, let's have a side conversation.
It's a different context. When you call your wife and say, where you at? You call her, you want to know where she's at. Because she's your wife, you want to know where she is. My friends call me and say, where you at? It's usually because they want to know where I'm at so we can go get some drinks or whatever.
But they might just want to know where you at because to make sure you're okay.
Tomorrow I don't want to see him anymore, I could turn that off. There's no accountability. I made you no promises. I was your friend. I'm marrying Thomas tomorrow. That's it.
It's the exact same question. There is no different question.
It is.
So Yvonne doing?
It's different to me. I don't want the accountability of nobody else's feelings. I have to take into consideration what time I'm coming home because he wants to know what time I'm coming home. I don't want to be bothered with all that. So I'm single. When I want to be bothered,
Devon, I agree with you.
My suitcase in my car.
She has been hurt in another relationship, and this is why she's avoiding any more relationships because she's protecting her feelings.
Not me. I'm protecting his feelings.
And that's okay. But
that's the only reason I'm saying it because I wanted to understand. Look, there's not a person, man, female, cat, dog, tiger, lion, that has not been hurt. Everybody's been hurt, but it's just the statements and
everybody.
Usually, people who are, and I'm not trying to be offensive of me, but people who usually have that type of confusion where it goes back and forth and there's no real consistency to a lot of things is because they find ways to get out of it where it don't hurt them. They just find the easiest way to go because it can't affect them. Hey, I know I said this, but I'm saying this now so it don't affect me. Or I know I said this before, but if I say this now, if it comes back to me, it don't affect me. So that's why I'm saying, like, look, I don't know your past. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know. I don't want to assume anything. That's why I always ask. But everything that I'm taking in for the past 3 weeks, and everything that seems to be jumbled up and just all over the place, to me shows some hurt somewhere because there's too much inconsistency to what you're saying. And especially with the last thing of, I'm protecting them. I'm protecting them. They not worried. I can guarantee you that man that you dated for 20 years is not sitting there like, why ain't she marrying me in 20 years? That man's doing his thing. Like you said, he's in a whole nother town. You think that man's literally concerned about what you're doing when you know he's dating other women?
I don't want to
worry about you hurting him.
But you know what? CC? See, you keep up this mentality.
But that's not what he said before.
What did he say before?
I'm hurting his feelings.
You know why he said that? I'm going to tell you from a guy's perspective. You know why he said that? Because it sounds good. That's exactly why he said that. I don't really care. He said that because...
Look. Because when you just said that, your facial expression was of joy. What was that?
What do you mean? I mean, it's of no concern to me if he mentioned
when Yvonne mentioned or when you said that, you know, if he was hurt or, you know, and this, that, and the other, it was like this smile came on your face. What was that?
I don't know. I'm just thinking, like I said, it's not me. I was in a relationship with somebody before, and then they were like, oh, look what you did to me. Oh, and tried to make me feel bad, like I was the bad guy. So I said, you know what? I'm not doing it anymore.
Okay,
I'm not
you said you were really quick. Did you just say you was in a relationship with somebody before, right? Did you just say that?
Yep.
Okay, what did you do?
What didn't I do?
So then, yes, you hurt him because you was in a relationship and you did some dirt.
That's why I don't want to be in a more relationship. When I get ready to do what I want to do, I don't want it to hurt your feelings because I'm not your girlfriend, and I told you that before. So don't invest your feelings in this.
So
when I get ready to go, I'm going.
So your intention. Okay, so your intention is to not have any feeling for anybody.
Wow, Toni, that was so mean.
Right?
But I mean, Tony's kind of right.
No, but I call it as I see it. I call it as I see it. So is it your intention to not have feelings in any case with any man?
I guess so. That wasn't how I.
You know what? The way Cece's attitude is right now, she's gonna get hurt so bad. It's gonna hurt her to her core because she's gonna, you're gonna fall for somebody, and because of your attitude, he ain't gonna want you, and it's gonna hurt you more than you think. You are gonna be hurt to your core.
And I don't want to cut you off, Yvonne. I really don't. But here's some real. I'm gonna speak from a man's perspective on this. Right, one, that sign, that pause you just gave Toni after she said that sign, that pause it was like a pain reminder, and you can sense it. Right now, go past that. From a man's perspective, let me tell you what a guy is really gonna do. Right, a guy is going to get you. Whether you believe it or not, one of these dudes is going to get you, and you're gonna let your guard down. And because, and I'm not saying this, but I'm sitting here and I'm a guy, and I'm this talking thing that we're doing, and I'm sitting here, I'll be like, man, this chick here is just talking, it ain't making no sense. But she got a nice body, a pretty face, and all this stuff, and I'm gonna feed her everything she want to hear. Like, you hurt my feelings, I miss you, I love you. Come stay with me in New York all this time and don't ever go back. And you're going to be like, oh, he's really paying attention and doing it. A guy will do this. He's going to spoil you right. He's going to do everything you're asking him to do. And then, boom, it's going to happen to you.
So if you say that, why hasn't it happened yet then? Because he's already done all that.
Because nobody
gonna happen.
Really took the effort to really say, I bet you I can crack you. You know why? Because the dude you've dated for 20 years don't have to put that effort in no more. That's why it hasn't happened yet.
It's going to be somebody that's going to come along. It's going to be someone that's going to come along that you are going to be digging deep. You will be digging this dude like nobody's business. Because it's going to happen. But the unfortunate part is that karma plays a part.
Yes, it does.
You've had this cold heart. You've had this cold heart where none of this matters. And you think that you're doing it for the guy, but you're also doing it for yourself. You don't have to do nothing for him.
Exactly.
Because he's going to do his own thing. He's going to take his own mind. He's going to do whatever he wants to do. But the problem is going to be is that it is going to be somebody that's going to come along CC. And that you are going to fall for. You will. Trust me, my baby sister. You will.
Can be melted.
And the thing that is going to happen is that you're going to be running in deep with this dude. And he is going to hurt you on so many levels, baby. It's going to take you years to get over.
Do you think I would let somebody do that to me?
Trust me.
Hey,
it ain't the idea of letting them do that. It can happen in the blink of an eye. Your heart is not
over the mind.
Listen, I was just gonna say something real quick. The heart is stupid. Understand that part of it. The brain
yes,
is
it
smart,
is.
But the heart is stupid. And the problem is the heart listens more than the head thinks. And for that reason alone, that's why it's going to happen. Because the coldest hearted can get melted. Trust me when I tell you that. Now the problem is going to come when that guy comes along. That one dude that it may be this dude. We don't know. this dude might come to you and say, "Hey, our friend," like, and this one, it's impossible for you to deal with somebody on that level for 20 years and you don't develop some kind of feelings for them.
Something.
That's impossible. And even if you consider it to just be a friendship, there's no way you have feelings for a person unless you literally see them once every 3 years. But you can't deal with a person on the status that you say you deal with this person on and don't develop some kind of
And not get
feelings for him. So if that person, because I'm telling you, let that boy wake up tomorrow and tell you he married. You can say how cold and everything you are, but
it's happened. It's already happened.
No, not with him. Not with him.
He got married to somebody.
And that
it's
probably is
deeper
cold.
than that, Devon. It's gonna be this dude.
Hold on, whoa,
It's not gonna
whoa.
be this dude of 20 years.
Wait,
I'm
you
telling
said
you, it's not.
see,
Because
see,
they've already established something that's already set in stone.
Hold on, Yvonne. What you say,
She's
Yvonne?
established it.
Cece, did you say it's already happened?
It's already happened. He had
With this
gotten
dude
married
for
to
20 years?
He had gotten married to a girl back in 2016.
And you still dealing with him?
I'm
He got
done.
married to the girl.
I'm done.
He called me
I'm
up.
done. Hey,
I cannot.
He called me up and told me he married the girl, and I said to him, I was like, "That is great. I'm glad you found somebody that that because." He kept saying, "I'm lonely." I would same thing Tony said. I want to be with somebody. I said, "You know what? That's great. You found somebody you want to be with." 2 months later, he was like, "Oh, I can't stand this girl. I want her the fuck out of my house." I was like, "You did that to yourself." I was like,
so he was married and you were still dealing with him?
When he married the girl, when he told me he married, I said to my best friend, I said, he will not be married to this girl 2 years from now. Less than 2 years, they got divorced and she was gone.
CC, that man got married on you out of nowhere and you went back.
No, not on me because I'm not his girlfriend.
But you were
But you still dealing with him.
He divorced her. Why would I give up?
He got married on you.
CC,
listen. I wasn't his girlfriend. I knew he was dating.
It don't matter.
I'm calling you this weekend. I am calling you this weekend.
CC, when he was married,
I am gonna be fixing all day long. It ain't gonna be fun.
CC,
real
quick.
I'm gonna give you a big.
Someone's trying to ask me something.
CC, when that man got married, were you still dealing with him?
No.
Okay.
We've been seeing each other off and on. I'm not his girlfriend. I hadn't seen him in maybe like a year. We talk all the time. He texts me. We send each other jokes or whatever. I sent him a joke one night in the middle of the night. And he was like, "Oh, I got married today." I was like, "Oh, that's great." I was like, "I'm sorry. I wish I had known that earlier because I would not be texting you at 12 o'clock at night had I known you was married. Because it's inappropriate. I'm sorry."
Chris did say that early in the show because I asked you. Well, this is crazy. I asked you earlier when I had said, "How you know he's not married?" When he sprung a marriage on you the first time.
That's how I know he's not married.
Said anything.
I said, I know, I'm positive that he's not married.
But that man sprung a marriage on you. He literally got a suit, got married in a church, he
didn't get married in the
didn't
church.
tell her
and
nothing.
you didn't even know. I bet you that man planned that marriage out for months. I bet you he did.
He probably did, but
you do nothing about it. You're
my business.
But you guys were friends.
I don't know nothing about. Shit, I had a baby and he didn't know. So it's not.
But you weren't getting married.
Say again?
But you didn't get married. That's the difference.
I don't think I will ever get married. I don't want to get
married.
That's
not the point.
He wants to get married, and he found a girl that wanted to get married. And he married her. I said, "That's great. You found somebody who wants the things that you want. I am glad you found somebody that you're not lonely."
And then he got a divorce and got back with you. So how you know that man ain't had his ex-wife back at his house?
That's his business if he did.
How you know that man's ex-wife ain't living with him?
I know she doesn't live there because I was just
How
over there.
do you know that man sprung a marriage on you? How do you know?
I was just over there.
How do you know that ex-wife ain't somewhere right now away from him and just he knew you? Do you know guys do strategize?
I don't know, but I don't care because that's not my problem or my concern. That's his ex-wife, not mine.
But his ex, listen, I keep asking, how you know that man ain't married? You keep saying, I know he's not married. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a woman defending her man. So I know my man ain't married. I know. But at the same time, you sitting here and you saying, I know he's not married.
I know it. Well, not because he's my man, because we are friends. We've been friends for a long time. I knew he's not married. I knew when he was going to divorce her. I knew when the divorce was final. And if he is
but
still
you didn't
seeing
know
her,
before he
that's
was
not
getting
my
married,
problem,
and
nor
you
my
didn't know,
concern.
and you don't know nothing. You don't know now. You saying what you do know. You knew because he couldn't hide it from you no longer. But you
He didn't have to
know
hide it from me. He could have. I don't live in New York. He didn't have to ever tell me that he was married.
Exactly. So he could hide that he's married now.
He could, but that's not my problem or my concern. That's he's married, not me.
TC, I'm not saying
it should be. It should be.
Wow.
It should be your concern.
Wow.
It should be. And the reason why is because, oh my Lord, I don't want to take it too deep because I got to get off of here.
Yeah, I got to.
You should be concerned with the fact that if he is married and if he is divorced, if he's still seeing this woman and you going behind her, sleeping with him when he comes to town or you go there. Y'all might as well sleep together. You don't know if he's being honest or not. And my health would be my concern.
Exactly.
That would be my
second dude that sprung a marriage on you. It's the second dude that you got a marriage sprung on you on.
It wasn't a marriage. The first dude, I didn't know he was married. This guy, I knew he was.
You didn't know if this one was married either till he told you at midnight.
I don't want to get married. So when they want to get married, we're in our 40s and they get old and they want to get married. That's on them. I don't want to be married. I don't want to be married. He's asking me.
I'm telling you, baby, sis.
No.
Honey, baby, look. There's going to be somebody that's going to come along and all of that's going to change.
You know, people have been telling me that for years.
I think, well, like I said.
Oh, it's coming.
I'm going to let y'all have the rest of the night because I'm going to go ahead and take this
because we ain't never been this over.
I think before I go, I'm gonna let y'all finish this. But before I go, CC, seriously, I don't know if what pain that happened to you, but honestly, baby, I believe it's some pain there. And somebody cut you deep, and you don't want to ever experience that again. And that's your right. But if I was you, I would deal with that quickly because you're gonna get used. Seriously, and I'm not saying that.
Me and baby sis gonna have a conversation.
But
me and little sis, we gonna have a conversation this weekend.
All right, Yvonne, Toni, I'm gonna let y'all wrap y'all show up.
All right, Yvonne, thank you.
I need to go have a nightcap and a cigarette. God, dog it.
Ooh,
I didn't think that we were gonna be having CC on tonight.
I didn't either. But an hour later, here we are.
Hell, you coming back next week?
I don't know. What y'all want to talk about next week?
Lord, I don't think I can take anymore. I don't think I can take anymore. Oh my God. Well, we are definitely way over time. So we're gonna have to get out of here. Thank you, Miss CC. Stay right where you are. Gonna lead us out of here.
I'm not going nowhere.
Oh my God! So you've been watching Hot Topics Talk Radio TV. You've been watching Hot Topics Talk Radio TV, and as you can tell, I have lost my voice. Good thing because I don't have a show tomorrow, so I'll be sitting in on the controls for Truth Brothers TV tomorrow night with Devon Patrick, who you saw tonight here on Hot Topics, and also Mr. Ray Gage. But if you want to know more about Hot Topics Talk Radio, go over to Facebook where you are, put in Hot Topics Talk Radio, follow the show so you can get show notifications, of course, when CC comes on. And also catch up on some past shows as well. You can also visit our website at hottopicstalkradio.com hottopicshow.com. And just make sure that you follow us. This is what we do on Wednesday night. Give you some excitement with Miss Cece.
Oh yeah, especially the last 4 weeks.
I'm not that exciting. I promise you, I'm not.
Girl, you just don't know. This show might go viral.
It might.
Yeah, that's what Chris said. Chris Wilson
I
said
know.
it's going to go viral. Oh my God. So come on back here every Wednesday night here on Hot Topics Talk Radio. The show always starts at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 9 Central, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Make sure that you come on back tomorrow night with Truth Brothers TV. Their show is starting at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 9 Central, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. CC that got me so damn confused. Hell, I didn't even pull up their topic for tomorrow night, but you know it's going to be a good show.
I'll
I'm
be
hoping. Yeah, don't you even think about asking for a link for tomorrow night's show. I'm not letting you in on Truth Brothers to save my life.
Trying to eat me up on this.
So have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We love you and we thank you for your continued support. I'm just trying to take some of these banners down because damn it, I'm CC'd out. That's
Damn it, Tony. Listen,
I am CC'd out.
But I'm not that interesting at all. I'm just a regular, smuggler girl.
Girl, you just don't know.
I'm gonna call your ass. Me and Yvonne might call you together this weekend. Okay. We gotta have a talk.
Let me know so I can get my bottle of wine. We could just we could do like a Zoom or something.
We all have a bottle.
Okay.
Because with you, we don't need it.
We'll drink together.
I don't want to be obligated to.
All right. Good night, everybody. We love you.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Nice to see you.